Hey guys, Jusbox has a brand spanking new fragrance that's just launched, and it's an exclusive to Harrods boutique. And no, I did not work on this one with Jusbox and Julien Rasquinet because London Hall is created by Julien Rasquinet. Same perfumer that I worked with on our creation last year with Jusbox 54. Have you gotten your nose on 54 yet? It's super awesome, guys. It's a great patchouli gourmand, and I want to talk about that as well. But before that, in fact, what I'm going to do is I have several Julien Rasquinet fragrances here for Jusbox, and I'm going to talk to you about them as well, including 54, because London Hall is created by Julien Rasquinet, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus this 8 fragrances I'm going to talk to you about in this video, all Julien Rasquinet creations for Jusbox. But London Hall is a new fragrance created by Julien Rasquinet for Jusbox, and it's an exclusive fragrance for Harrods. So it's only selling at Harrods, and you can buy it also at the physical boutique of Jusbox in Milan. So those are the only two places. And unlike 54, I'm not sure if this is going to get a worldwide release, because when 54 launched, it was selling at Harrods for like a month, but I think it was a bit extended. I think it was there for about a month and a half until every other store started carrying it. So I have some info about the fragrance that the inspiration for London Hall is, but let me tell you a few details for this. It's a 2025 launch, obviously. Perfumer is Julien Rasquinet. I think this is a woody leather with floral touches, and it features the notes of saffron, cumin, lemons, Bulgarian rose, freesia, jasmine absolute, labdanum resin, olibanum, leather, vetiver, cedar wood, and patchouli. And here's what it says about the fragrance off of the Harrods website. A tribute to London's eclectic music scene, Jusbox's London Hall Eau de Parfum captures the capital's vibrant spirit, a seamless blend of tradition and reinvention. Spicy top notes speak to the city's bold energy, while a floral heart inspired by English gardens evokes the charm of its iconic parks. The fragrance also honors a true British landmark, Harrods, where fashion, culture, and history converge. So that's a little bit about London Hall, Jusbox's latest fragrance exclusively for Harrods. I haven't got my nose on it, and again, as I said, I did not work on this. The only collaboration I have done is 54, and I'm so proud of it. It's an awesome fragrance that really love, and also very grateful that I got to work with Jusbox and Julien Rasquinet. So let's open this up and see what it's all about. And if you guys aren't aware, which you should be, all of the Jusbox fragrances are inspired by music. So we've got 54, which is inspired by disco music at Studio 54. We have Black Powder that I'm going to talk to you about as well, which is inspired by grunge music. Carioca Heart, inspired by bossa nova. Night Flow, I believe, is rap music. We've got Green Bubble, which is reggae music. Sirens and Sailors, I believe, is blue-eyed soul. And Suit of Lights, I believe, is pop. So London Hall, again, is the music scene in London and everything else that is in London. So here is the sleeve that it comes with. It's almost like a CD, if you guys know what CDs are. This is kind of like what the CD sleeve is kind of like, or maybe a record. Let's see if I can get that in. And of course, here's the fragrance. And it's got the Harrods green color, which usually, I think Harrods requires you to do that color. But I've seen some fragrances get launched as Harrods exclusive in that green bottle, and then they get a worldwide release in that same green bottle. The brands keep the bottle. So again, I'm not 100% sure if this fragrance is going to get a worldwide release, but it is a exclusive fragrance for Harrods currently. Okay, a little bit more details. I like the gold top on this one. On 54, it's silver. And if you guys don't know what these tops are, that's a record, an album, like you used to listen to music off of vinyl. And I think vinyl is kind of making a comeback, so might be kind of popular. But let's smell London Hall. If you've gotten your nose on it, what are your thoughts? Do add a comment below. I'm quite curious what Julien has done. with this. Yeah, it's super spicy. I feel like I got a bit of cumin right up top, but it kind of disappeared. And I'm smelling white flowers. I'm also getting leather. The saffron has a leathery touch. Of course, there's leather in the dry down or in the notes as well. Ooh, there's a super sexiness about this one, but in more of a leathery way. I like that contrast of the flowers with the more kind of like rougher notes like the leather, the vetiver, the cedar, the cumin. So it's almost like it has a pretty side and a bit of a rough side, the Beauty and the Beast kind of thing happening here. There's the sexiness about this one, for sure. At least not as good as 54, but it is quite sexy. But it's a lot of leather. There's a lot of leather here, and it's super spicy. But I like that contrast of the more fragile, pretty notes of the flowers and the rougher notes like the leather and woods and spices. All right, I'm gonna spritz some on. Oh, it actually smells even better on skin. For sure, this is definitely going leathery. I think that's running the show. Leather, spices, and woods. On my skin, it's not as floral. It's more woods and spices. I mean, the floral part is there, but the spices and the leather and the woods are kind of covering it up. I mean, I'm kind of thinking of the punk scene in the 70s and 80s with the leather jackets. That kind of what the kind of visuals it brings to mind. But now, it's brightening up. Because the floral notes are in the heart. I thought this was going to go very rosy, like a lot of rose, but I feel like I get more of the jasmine and freesia in comparison to the rose. I mean, I'm very happy with 54. I think 54 is super sexy. There is a sexiness about this one, and it's more of a leathery sexy. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put that to use a little bit more. But if you like leather that's spicy with a slight floral twist, that's what London Hall is all about. I'm actually liking that one quite a bit. I'm going to rank the fragrances for you guys. I think he's got a few more fragrances that he's done for Jusbox. I don't have everything here. Ooh, it smells really good. It definitely has the signature touch of Julien Rasquinet's creations. But, I don't know if you guys get his signature touch with 54. What do you guys think? Because this London Hall does have a bit more of a Middle Eastern vibe to it. I think the leather and spices together is giving me that kind of a vibe. And I think 54 didn't give me that kind of a vibe. What are your thoughts? Anyway, happy with this one, but I still prefer 54. And I'm sure I'll talk about London Hall a bit more. But if you've sampled London Hall, let me know your thoughts. Do add a comment below. Let's go back a year and talk about 54 next. All right, 54 now. This is a 2024 launch. London Hall is a 2025 launch. I believe between London Hall and 54, there was another fragrance that wasn't created by Julien Rasquinet. It's called Sisters Before Misters. But 54 was an awesome fragrance collaboration to work on. Of course, the brand came to me and asked me if I would love to collaborate. And I had already been asked by other brands and I declined. And I really liked the brand itself for the theme of inspirations from music. So I instantly told them yes. And when they gave me the, option to work with Julien Rasquinet, I took that chance. And we came up with a really awesome fragrance. I think a lot of people seem to like it. They enjoy the way it smells. It's also very long lasting. And of course, it's combining my favorite note of patchouli, but it has pina colada, vanilla, chocolate, cinnamon, rum, sandalwood, cardamom, davana, tobacco, saffron. But as I was saying, does it remind you of Julien Rasquinet's typical creations? With London Hall, it's opening up and getting a bit more floral, by the way, which is great. It's a nice contrast to the leather. With London Hall, it's quite leathery and spicy and woody. Here, it's gourmandesque, but with an overdose of the patchouli. It's very earthy, but it has a lot of creamy lactonic qualities. I think it's because of the pina colada with the coconut in there, giving it this creamy effect. And of course, when I wear 54, as it dries down, it gets chocolate milky on skin. But along the way, you got the warm spices. Some folks that I've spoken to who are very sensitive to cinnamon, they pick up the cinnamon more. I do get the cinnamon, but it's not like as pronounced as the patchouli is for me. But of course, there's a lot of vanilla and there's a chocolate, as I said. And all of this mixed together with the tobacco and the dry down and the sandalwood as well gives me a chocolate milky creamy effect when it's drying down. It's so super awesome. It's really, really great fragrance. Patchouli lovers, don't miss out, don't skip out on this one. It smells super fantastic. It's a great, great fragrance. And again, I'm so happy and proud of it. It's an awesome creation. Working side by side with the owners of Jusbox and Julien Rasquinet, I think we came up with a great earthy, woody gourmand. I would say it's gourmandesque, but I think not your traditional gourmand. It's lots of patchouli, so that takes away from going full on gourmand. So that is 54. That was launched in 2024. And the year before that, I'm not going to smell that because I've smelled it on camera for you guys. I mean, I've spoken about it quite a bit. We'll smell the previous year's release that was also created by Julien Rasquinet. It's Carioca Heart. This launched in 2023, and this was being released at the time we were working on 54. And I was smelling the owners wearing this, and I was loving the trail it left behind. It almost seems like it's more of an airy fragrance, but it's not really. It has this great lingering power. It has mango, peony, pineapple, lemons, sandalwood, rum, labdanum, vanilla, and ambroxan. It's inspired by bossa nova music, and I think it's perfect with the inspiration of bossa nova music. It's got also the signature touch of Julien. I feel like here you can smell it, but going into a very fruity direction, but also very spicy. There's warm spices here. There's musky notes. There's ambery notes, and fruitiness is a great contrast to all these notes. And for me, I think it's got great lingering power, and I think it also has good sillage, projection, and all that kind of stuff. And it's the trail that people leave behind when they're wearing this. It's super, super sexy, but in a fun and playful way. And I think the mango and pineapple combo gives it that tropical edge. And it's boozy. Same with the 54. It's boozy and just really, really awesome offering from a great perfumer and a great brand. Let me know if you are a fan of Carioca Heart. Do add a comment below. All right, next up we've got Suit of Lights. Look at the little, it's almost like a disco ball. But it's more like, I think it's Swarovski crystals is what it says it is. So Suit of Lights is inspired by pop music, I believe. And this is a super musky, clean fragrance. I think it's also very ozonic. There's violet leaves here, so it gives you a very crisp, clean, slightly fruity touch with the violet leaves, but it has tangerine, violet leaves, honeysuckle, orange blossom, jasmine sambac, freesia, geranium, cedarwood, sandalwood, musk. Very musky, powdery, also citrusy and fresh, and of course ozonic, very, very ozonic here. You can really, really pick out the violet leaves that's in here, and it gives you a crispness, slight appley, slight cucumbery kind of effect. So kind of very fresh and clean and cool and crisp, but super, super powdery and super musky. I like it. It's a very fresh wear. It's also very long lasting. This is an extrait de parfum concentration as well. So if you want a long lasting freshie that's super crisp and clean and also ice cold, Suit of Lights should satisfy. I think it should. I think if you're looking for cool, crisp fragrances, always look up the notes violet leaves. Those always go in that kind of a direction. That's the only extrait de parfum we have here. I know the concentration of 54 is 22%, and I believe the concentration for London Hall is 20%. I don't know the concentration of the rest of the fragrances, but we've got another leather fragrance here inspired by rap music called Night Flow. So Night Flow is a leather accord fragrance and reminiscent of some other popular leather fragrances. And it's interesting, we've got 3 leather fragrances now. I feel like London Hall is a leather. It's a woody leather. This is a leather fragrance. And we also have Black Powder that's also a leather fragrance, smelling completely different than from one another. So This one is more familiar, Night Flow. It will remind you of, very popular leather fragrances like Tuscan leather or ombre leather. But you've got that leather accord. It's got a lot of saffron. It's a very, very saffron forward. Nice balance of the leather accord in here. Plus, it's got fruitiness for sure, like raspberry, the Davana adding a fruitiness. And the Davana I see coming up, there's a Davana in 54 as well. And the Davana in 54, I mean, I'm obsessed with the Davana note. I even actually did a Davana video after the launch of 54 because I always was intrigued, and I ended up buying the oil and smelling it and really studying it, and then see if I can pick it out in here. And you can, like, if you study a kind of a smell, you can totally pick it out in there. It's a great way to learn ingredients and fragrances. So they have essential oils online. You can buy them, and I bought Davana. And if you're curious to learn more about Davana, check it out because it does have a fruitiness about it. To me, it smells like dried fruits. And it's interesting that Julien has added it in Night Flow, and it really does accentuate the fruitiness of the fragrance with the raspberry. It's quite lovely here. But yeah, you'll be reminded it says a familiar leather smell, but really nicely done. Everything seems very highly concentrated, and the oils, and of course, I've got the London Hall on skin. It's still kind of got the kind of greasiness on. The oiliness. And I'm smelling the London Hall in comparison to Night Flow. They're totally different. Leathers, but going in a different direction. This Night Flow is your familiar leather smell with the fruity raspberry and the Davana and the spicy pink pepper. The London Hall seems a bit more daring, I would say, and a different kind of leather. I think the cumin adds that a bit more daring quality, but I feel like it's toned down with the white flowers that are in there, the freesia, the jasmine, even the rose. Yeah, it's quite good. But also Night Flow is quite great as well. It's a very familiar smell that really nicely done. So that is Night Flow from Jusbox, created by Julien Rasquinet. All right, next up we've got a fragrance called Sirens and Sailors, inspired by blue-eyed soul music of singers like Amy Winehouse. So this one's actually quite yummy. This one is really rosy. It's super, super rosy in comparison to London Hall featuring rose, but I didn't get much rose from it. So this one, as I said, inspired by Blue-Eyed Soul, featuring notes of bergamot, peach, osmanthus, rose, rum, whiskey, patchouli, vanilla, suede, and musk. So this one sort of reminds me a little bit of Intense Cafe from Montal, but not lactonic. To me, it's the rose in there is similar to the rose in here, but this goes into a mulled wine direction, like a wine, like a dessert made with wine, kind of almost, like with a lot of fruits, because there's the peach, there's the osmanthus, those are providing the fruitiness, and then there's rum and whiskey also. So that's kind of giving us a slight booziness, and even though I think, yeah, I do get a slight booziness from mulled wine. I think it's just the fact that it's fermented, and you get that kind of a bit here as well. But really beautiful. It's gorgeous the way it's done. It's super fruity, very, very rose forward, and also super, super boozy. And I've always liked the music of Amy Winehouse, so I think this one's a great inspiration. The rose adds a slight feminine layer, but the booziness and the other notes, the fruitiness, I think this one, maybe it might be a bit more feminine leaning, but I feel like it's perfectly unisex because eventually it settles to some leathery touches and earthy, woody touches. And of course, you've got quite a bit of musk in here as well. Really nicely done, I think. I like this one more for a bit more unique quality in comparison to Night Flow, even though I get that faint reminder of Intense Cafe. But for me, it's the rose in there that reminds me of the rose in here, and then it goes into a complete different direction. Either way, that is Sirens and Sailors. What do you guys think of the name of that one? Then we're going to talk about Green Bubble. To me, this is super challenging, although not in an animalic way. It's cannabis. Cannabis is a bit strange in fragrances, and they've brought out this kind of greasy, oily effect in the cannabis here, which is it's a bit strange, actually. So this features notes of marijuana accord, absinthe, dry amber, saffron, and honey. This also doesn't give me a reminder of Julien Rasquinet's creations. I don't even know if I got it from Sirens and Sailors, Maybe I get it more from there than I get it from here. But I don't know if you've ever gotten your nose on this one. It's got a very greasy quality, very greasy. I think it's the greenness of the marijuana or cannabis accord they have. I feel like if you've ever peeled into a grapefruit, that oily, greasy smell up top is here. So I'm assuming they might have some grapefruit as a note in here. And that's what's giving us this kind of strange greasy effect, which most of the time I see grapefruit and cannabis in a fragrance together. And here, I think they might have some, which is what's contributing to that green greasiness. But they've brought it out a lot. And it's not a very conventional fragrance. So if you like the idea of cannabis, or it's very green, it's called Green Bubble, and it's inspired by reggae music. So I think it's perfectly done. But I find this one to be a bit challenging to wear, not in an animalic way. It's not a super conventional fragrance. That's why it's not something I crave. But if you like the idea of the smell, this is perfectly done, I think. So check it out if you haven't yet. It's Green Bubble from the House of Jusbox. I have a full review of that on the channel if you want to find out more about it. And then last but not least, we've got another leather fragrance inspired by grunge music and the music of Nirvana. It's Black Powder. So this leather fragrance is so different than the other two. So this one gives me gunpowder touches. It's super smoky. And also, I think it's a bit more suede leather-like instead of leather, if that makes sense. This also has a fruitiness added to it, but it's apples and not raspberries. There's black currant here. There's tonka beans, frankincense, tobacco, suede, of course. So it's a very unique take on it, but I get a major gunpowder-like powderiness and effect. It's kind of dusty and dry with some light juiciness behind it from the apples and the black currant. So there is fruitiness here once again. And I mentioned it in another video recently. Fruits and leather together, what a combo. They always really work really wonderfully together. And they kind of tone down any kind of animalic qualities of the leather accord that they've created in the fragrance. It balances it out rather than going one-sided. So this one does have a totally different smell to it in comparison to the other leather fragrances. But I would say this one is a bit more reminiscent of London Hall in comparison to the Night Flow that we were talking about. But a great inspiration for grunge music. I can totally see this. The leather, the smoky bar. It's a bit boozy as well, but you got that coming, I think, from the fruitiness that's in here that's providing it. But totally great inspiration for grunge music and the music of Nirvana, which I was a big fan of. But let's go back to London Hall. This is the brand spanking new exclusive fragrance to Harrods. Again, a totally different leather fragrance from the two that I spoke about. I think once the fragrance settled, the white flowers or the flower or floral notes in general smoothed it all out completely. And it's become a bit ambery, and it's a nice fusion of this almost suede leather-like leather with the smoothness of amber and also the flowers. It's quite gorgeous, but it is leather. It's definitely more masculine leaning, even with the flowers in it. But I like that the flowers provides a brightness, which was the inspiration of the parks, I think, that London has. In fact, last time I was staying in London, I was near a park, and I'd walk through the park quite a bit. It's a beautiful, beautiful park in London. So I can see this as a really great inspiration. In fact, I would walk through the park and go to Harrods. So it's kind of a weird coincidence. But this is London Hall, the latest fragrance from Jusbox, created by Julien Rasquinet, an exclusive fragrance for the store Harrods. Let me give you my ranking now. Okay, so I would put Green Bubble at the bottom. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fragrances. Green Bubble is 8. I would put I would put Suit of Lights at 7. I would put Night Flow at 6. I would put Black Powder at 5. I would put Sirens and Sailors at 4. I would put London Hall at 3. What's number 1? Okay, number 2 is Carioca Heart. And I have to put 54 at number 1 because I'm so proud of this fragrance. It's an awesome release. So I am putting 54 at number 1 because I love the way it smells. And this is a ranked list of what I like to smell. So I did it correctly. So number 1, 54. Number 2, Carioca Heart. Number 3, London Hall. Number 4, Sirens and Sailors. Number 5, Black Powder. Number 6, Night Flow, or was it the other way around? Suit of Lights. I think these two are a toss-up. And then, of course, Green Bubble at number 8. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Have you sampled London Hall yet? I like the color of this. Totally do love the color. And what do you guys think about 54? If you haven't sampled yet, please do. It's an awesome, awesome release. Really proud of it. I have it linked in the info box. But let me know by watching this video and the way the fragrances sound, how would you rank this list? And if you've sampled all the fragrances, please give me your honest ranking for the fragrances. Anyway, appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon as well. And then also, please give a thumbs up for this video so it helps with the algorithm. See you guys later. Bye-bye.